Welcome to the virtual City Hall School. Today I'm in Ward 10 and I've got with me Councillor Walters.
Hello.
And also from Ward 10, student reporter Leon.
Hello.
At City Hall School, we learn about what councillors do, and we know that their job is to listen and to learn and to decide. And the decisions that they make sure that we have a really good quality of life. So before they start the interview, let me tell you some things that I know about Councillor Walters. He likes to read, he likes to ride his bike, he likes to run. He also likes canoeing in the river valley. And his favorite place in all of Edmonton is his backyard garden where he likes to grow vegetables. I also heard that his family doesn't have a pet right now, but if they did, they were hoping to have a duck, which is kind of interesting. So Leon, I'm going to turn it over to you to ask your questions and let's find out some more about our Ward 10 councillor.
Okay, so my first question for you is, what is the most rewarding part of your work?
Well, I think the most rewarding part of my work is having an imagination and a vision for Edmonton of the future and being able to do the things to help build that. So whether we're doing things like seeing new buildings being built downtown, you know, the big high-rises, or new housing being built in our neighborhoods, or seeing old things that are run down and a bit broken up being fixed. I think that's the stuff that's rewarding, is imagining things and then seeing the progress toward it actually happening is pretty rewarding.
Yeah, that sounds nice. Well, my second question is, what is the biggest challenge for you?
Well, right now, the biggest challenge is dealing with the COVID impacts on the city, that we've had to lay off a lot of our employees and we've had to reorganize our budgets, and we just won't have as much money to do some of the things that our citizens want us to do. So the challenge today is pretty clear and serious, but I think overall, I'd say the biggest challenge is working with other orders of government to have a shared vision and to see our city as a place where they can be successful too. So among many challenges, I'd pick working with other orders of government and the COVID crisis as the two ones that are most serious.
Yeah, let's hope that all comes to an end soon.
Yeah.
Okay, I have my third question here. What did you want to be when you were my age?
So you're in grade 6?
I am, yes.
I wanted to be two things. I wanted to be a psychologist, or I wanted to be a radio sports broadcaster, because I would listen to the Edmonton Oilers and the Edmonton Eskimos on a little radio that I had when I was a kid growing up in a community called Drayton Valley. So I didn't live in Edmonton, but I would listen to these sportscasts over the radio, and I thought that would be a lot of fun to do, is to call hockey games. And then I signed a book out of the library that had 15 careers in it, and so much more limiting approach. I thought of all the careers listed in that book, psychologist seemed like the one I'd be most interested in doing. So I ran with that for a while until I realized I didn't actually want to do that.
Well, those both sound pretty interesting.
Yeah.
My fourth question is, what are 3 words that would describe you? What are 3 words to describe a great leader in your own words?
So I think a great leader is curious. I think a great leader is humble.
Okay.
And I think a great leader is brave.
Okay. Okay. These will be a little bit different, but my fifth question was, during this time of isolation, what is something that brings you joy?
Well, I was actually writing a poem last night called Rat Racelessness. And so the thing I don't miss about my old life, my pre-pandemic life, is the rat race. And you know what? You've heard that saying before, Leon, where it's like you're getting up early in the morning and rushing and then driving running from meeting to meeting to meeting, and then running to a lunch meeting and then racing home and then getting your kids ready for sports and driving there and driving home, picking up the other kid, and all that stuff that is pretty much the sort of frog in the boiling pot that we don't even realize it anymore, that we're so busy running around doing things. So the working from home, having this time with my kids in a more meaningful way as opposed to in the car, going from place to place, just sitting and reading, not feeling guilty that I'm not doing something. That's kind of what I'm focused on, is just being a little more, just enjoying the quiet and the pace.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot more calm nowadays.
Yes.
Okay, my sixth question, sorry. There are so many caring citizens in our city. Tell us about some of the #YearCares examples you've seen in your ward.
So one great example is an organization called Drive Happiness, which takes seniors who no longer can drive to their appointments and various things in normal times. During quarantine, they've been mostly delivering food, so volunteers delivering groceries to seniors. So I've done a shift with them, and I'm trying to do that every Friday afternoon. But there's so many volunteers, and so that's just me doing it a couple hours a week, but so many people do it every day. They're driving groceries to seniors. So that's one example. And in my own neighborhood, some friends of ours, neighbors of mine, organized a food bank drive about a month ago, where they collected a bunch of food for the food bank. And then this coming Friday, those same folks are doing a bottle drive to raise money for the food bank. So Greg Maymar and Michelle Peterson Maymar and Justin and Leah are the family. And then they're organizing a bunch of our other neighbors to do it. So those are two examples.
Nice.
Okay, that sounds really nice. Okay, I only have one more question for you, and that is, what do you hope we learn or take away from this experience? And what advice do you have for children like me?
Well, I don't know if I'm ready to give anybody any advice yet, but I've been thinking about this a lot. There's two things that could happen. One is everything could just go back to normal, and we'd just remember that, there was that time for 2020, and we still behave the same way. Or we could remember that there was some, we have to be mindful that for some people this has been very, very financially and mentally and emotionally stressful. But I think everybody probably experienced some degree of slowing down. And I think that we don't need maybe to be as ambitious as we once thought we had to be, and as busy as we once thought we had to be. And it's okay to live a bit of a slower pace. And actually, it might make people's mental health better. It might make our productivity at work even greater if we pace ourselves. So I'm hoping that pace is what we take away from this. Because you don't have to have the pedal to the metal all the time.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that was a great interview. Thank you both. I like that Councillor Walters is concerned about the direction that our city is growing, but also the garden, how his garden is growing. So my challenge for you today, students, is when you're out walking in your neighborhood is to look for some gardens. Maybe there's a garden on someone's balcony or in their backyard. Maybe there's a community garden in your neighborhood. Maybe there's something that your family could grow. Or another challenge might be to just look at the food that you eat today. Are there any seeds in any of the food? Can you think about where your food came from or where it was grown? So I hope that today you will grow in your appreciation and understanding of food. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, Councillor Walters.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Leon.
It's been fun.
Thanks, Leon. Good job. Great interview.
Thank you.
Thanks, Linda.